is better. I can work with this. I want to mix a lot of colors, so I'm using this. This is burnt sienna. This is medium yellow. But then this is brilliant red, and beside it here is crimson. So crimson is a red that has blue in it. Just like what is very important on my palette is white. But then let me put blue first. This is blue, and this is white. On this part we have yellow ochre, lamp black, and I guess that's also burnt sienna or burnt umber there. So let me quickly use my picture to mix the dark tone, mid-tone, and highlights. So the first thing we're going to do for the first layer is just to lay the dark tone, mid-tone, and the highlight of the skin colors. When we're painting the second layer, we'll start adding all other extra colors that we can see on the skin. Like for this part, that has a little bit of crimson mixed with the skin tone. So let's mix more of these colors first. This light is reflecting into my face. But then, so I'm going to mix the right colors. We don't really need to go into too much details in getting the right color for the first layer. Just mix at least something that is close to the right color. So you can now be careful about your colors and your choice of color in your second layer. I paint in at least 2 layers. At least 2 layers. The more the layers, the better your artwork in the end. So for the highlights, I started with a lot of white. I already have some colors there before, so I just want to tone it a little bit. This is medium yellow, and this is brilliant red. The brilliant red is a red that is closer to yellow. So, and don't forget that I said the skin tone is desaturated. So to desaturate this, we can use a little bit of blue. We can also use brown or black. So, but you just need to understand that if you are using black, then you have to use lesser quantity so that you don't just mess up your color mixture or and make everything just dark at once. So the darker the color you choose to desaturate your skin color will determine the amount of quantity you would add into the skin color mixture. I think this is still too light. This light is, yeah, it's too light compared to what I used before. still very light. And I think what I use initially has a lot of red in. So I'm using that for the highlights. Next to the mid tone. A dark skin girl, so you can start from brown. You can start your mid tone from your burnt sienna. A little bit black. Okay. Still trying to mix the mid tone. I think looking at the picture, these colors still match. So let's use this for the mid tone. But I guess I still need to mix more than this. And for the dark tone, that's the darkest of all. Hmm. My picture might look a little bit different from what I'm mixing here. I just check my screen. I think the screen resolution is making the printout a little bit different. But then we'll be fine. So in this now we need a lot of black. This yeah, I think this is fine. But this is a little bit too dark. So I use flour to wash my brush and also blend. That's petrol. So one other thing that I do before I start applying my color is I put a little bit of gloss paint. Gloss is on household paint. I add it to the oil color because the nature of oil color is it takes longer time to dry compared to acrylic. Acrylic dries faster, but the challenge with oil color is it takes longer time to dry. And how is this a challenge? Let's take for instance, you want to relay a color at a part, or you want to correct a certain part, you want to make it darker, you would not be able to achieve that because the color is not dried. Oil color even takes about a day before it gets dried, before you can apply another color on it perfectly. So, but for you to be able to achieve all of that, and for you to for your work to be faster and smoother, I used to add a little bit of oil paint, oil gloss paint. But then you have to be careful about this. It's just a little that you need. Because if this is too much, it can affect the overall look of your piece. It would make some part of the artwork shine. So and that's not really too good. So I just advise you add little of the gloss paints, like very minute quantity, nothing compared to what um to the quantity of your actual oil color. The purpose of this is just to make your painting dry faster so that you can lay another color if you want to lay it like immediately. So I added white to that because that's my highlight. So it's easier to just add a little bit of white to that. For the mid-tone, maybe yellow or blue, depending on the tone I'm looking at. So you need to be careful so that this doesn't change the overall look of your mixture too. So you have to have it in mind that you're still going to add gloss to this. You might want to add it while mixing before you achieve your actual tone. And if you know how to go around it, you can also add it after you have mixed the exact tone that you need. And for this, I can choose to use my friend ready. Let me just add blue to the last one. So the choice of this color, just have to, there's no really um let's say a certain formula to it. It's just a color that will not change your color that much. Let's take for instance I'm adding blue to this. Now it might have a bad effect to that color, but I know that white gloss paint should just change it a little bit. So that's that. Then the next thing is to apply the first layer. Today we'll be painting just the skin. Yes, the skin of both the African girl and the Caucasian girl. So I have a bigger brush here to apply, and from my sketch I've kind of marked places where I should have my highlights, my dark tone, and the mid tones. You can start from whichever one, but just make sure you lay the tones in the right section. We're not looking at being perfect with the exact colors that are there right now. Like aside from these tones, there are other colors that you still find on the skin. Just like I've explained to you, that the skin is not based on mid-tone, dark tone, and highlighted tone. There are other colors that reflects on the skin, and those are the colors that are in the environment. Let's say someone is in an environment that has a blue and all these blue green lights. Those lights reflect on them, just like lights reflect too. Other objects in the environment, they reflect on the skin. So There are some parts that you might just have to add a little bit of white to your highlights to paint them. This is our first layer, so we might not really focus on the exact color, but let's have something similar, and let's keep the values, the depth. So let's make sure we have the right tone of colors in the right places. That's what we want to do for the first layer. Some areas might just be a mixture of your mid-tone and your highlights. So there are places like that you have such tones. So let's move on to the mid-tone. this part of the nose is just slightly in between the dark tone and the mid-tone. Just trying to achieve that shade there. Just try as much as possible to keep the right tonal values. Okay. As a reference, I have to keep applying the mid-tones where it's meant to be. Our focus for this class is the skin, so we would not paint the eyes and the mouth for today. So we just focus our attention on the skin. Hopefully, if we have enough time, we are going to paint the first and second layer of the skin. Just still trying to apply the mid tone, the highlights, the dark tones. And this is still the first layer. So I think I had a wrong tone here. So all I have to do is add more of this to that part. hmm So this is the challenge I was trying to say. That it's not so easy to change the color of your oil paints or the tonal value easily if you use just the oil color directly. And the drying time of the oil color is slower, is very slow. So it could take a whole day before it dries. That's why it's advisable to add at least a little bit of gloss into it. a little bit so that it doesn't make your artwork shine too much in the end. Also, try to use smaller brushes for smaller details. Where you have smaller details, use a smaller brush there so that you don't end up exaggerating the details at a specific parts. So you have to be careful not to overemphasize the details. If not, we are going to lose the realism. In painting and drawing generally, your line matters. A little difference in a line can affect the outcome of your artwork in the end. So our advice for small places like this, like the nose, use a smaller brush. So we're almost done with applying the tones for the first layer. So there are some places where I just mix a little bit of the mid tone with the highlights. So after applying the first layer, the next thing is to blend the color. So I want to blend all the tones that I've applied as the first layer. I use a big brush to blend to achieve a smooth blend effect. Majorly I start from the highlights. I blend it into the mid tone. Most of the time I use the circular method to blend my colors into each other. Well, it all depends on the sides I want to blend. That will determine how I'm going to blend it. Dip your brush in the front, then dry it a little bit with a napkin or any cloth before you blend. When you are blending, you use just slight pressure. Don't put too much force on your brush so that your brush can be free and the colors can go into each other smoothly and gradually. I'm trying to blend the highlights first because one trick about blending is the more you blend, the more you have colors on your brush, and if you don't clean your brush from time to time, you might be having some sort of error in your results. Like you might not blend well, or you might have other colors laying on your colors, which will not make your blend smooth. So generally, once you use a bigger brush, you have achieved a smoother blend than using a small brush. But in cases where you want to keep certain details, you might have to use a smaller brush to blend some areas. But for now, all we just want to do is to make sure we have the tones just where they are meant to be. These are our first layer, so we're not really going into details in the first layer. We just want to capture the tonal values and make sure we have the form of that face rightly placed. When you want to blend the light shade, please always try to wash your brush before blending. so that you don't end up messing up your